Welcome to Financials with Ahawo. It's great to be together with you again today as we continue to talk about the mindset and how we are making shifts that are key for us and just beginning to ensure that we're moving in a direction that's commensurate with the financial goals we have set for ourselves in terms of making wealth. So today I'd like us to talk about the challenges that we would need to navigate. And why this is key is because sometimes when you look at things, it's very easy to focus on just the good side, the hype and what's exciting, and forget that there are challenges that come alongside the different decisions you're making. And considering that this is a shift or a change in how you've been doing things, there's also going to be the fact that it might not augur well, even with yourself, with those around you. So how are you going to kind of be prepared and think through that and begin to ensure that you stay the course? So the first thing I'd like us to think through is the challenge you pose to yourself. Considering that this is a direction that your mind is not used to taking, there's always the point of easily going back to what's comfortable, easily going back to what's easy to do, because you're just like, I've tried this shift, I've been doing it for 2 weeks, and then you hit, a rock, and you're like, rock, hard place, I'm not staying here. But that's not the direction you should take. My urge to us is first realize that you will be the first challenge to yourself because you're the carrier of the shift you're making, but be willing to show up even when you don't think you have capacity, you don't even want to have capacity, but remember the goal that is bigger than you, and that's what will keep you thinking and moving in that direction. Second thing is your fan club. And we have different fan clubs. Some of us, our fan club may constitute our siblings, may constitute close friends, it may constitute colleagues who we work with closely and share certain goals financially, may constitute, if it's a couple, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, fiancé, all these people who are present. It may also constitute an accountability person like a mentor or a coach. So how is your fan club going to take this up? Most people who want the best of you tend to have already seen the shift you need to make. So they are ready to make it with you, thankfully. But there are few who love having you in the same space and may not want you to move because you also challenge them. You also show them that there's a new level that we can operate in. And then you become that person who's moving ahead and everybody's like, stay back. And you're like, no, I need to move. So you also need to be alert to that. There's a saying I've heard said from time to time, it gets to a place where you're an eagle playing with chicken, and that cannot work. You just have to make the decision to leave the chicken pen, go up the mountains, go up the tall trees, and fly with the eagles. So that also is going to be an area to think through and decide how to navigate, kind of determine who's looking ahead to where I want to go, who's comfortable, and who could I even bring along. Because sometimes the challenge with our fan club is just that you need to bring them along. From time to time, I challenge my friends when I find an interesting book or something I'm listening to. And I'm like, guys, you need to listen to this. Why? Because I want them to experience the same kind of challenge I got to my mind. And hopefully we're able to move in the same direction. So kind of think through it like that. And then 3, the challenge you face is the world. The world will always have contrary views to so many things we want to do, especially if we seek to do it in values, we seek to do it with our faith. The world will have very contradictory values. Like you might want to do your financial decision without tax evading. But the world is all about what tax can you cut? Where can you make sure you're not paying the whole amount? And you're like, no, I'm making a shift, but I want my shift to constitute of a certain value system. So that's the other thing you're going to think about. The world will always, because of how fast the world changes and how fast information generates, there'll always be a new opinion. So you also have to decide, okay, this is enough of an opinion that I'm taking on. I can only process this much information. Like kind of the way we say you take a social media break, take a social media detox, and things like that. You can be on Instagram for like 30 minutes, and then you just lift your head and you're like, what? I just spent 30 minutes reading through people's life. What am I doing with my life? Or that's just about enough of information I want to take on today. And it's key to do that. I remember I shared a clip with someone, excited as I said, bringing my fan club along. And they just told me, you know what? How? I've had enough for today. I'll put this in my list for tomorrow. And I thought that was so cool. I was like, that's something so good to do. You know when you've reached your limit with what the world is presenting to you, and you're ready to take a pause and deal with it when you're ready to process the new information and see what you can do with it, if you even need it, you know? So looking at those kind of 3 areas of challenges, the direction we need to take would be one that considers these challenges and then creates a path of navigating them. So we can't run away from a challenge because, it's like the ostrich adage of burying the head in the sand thinking the lion would go. Nah, the lion will come and bite its leg. Well, not that way, but you get what I mean. You can't run away from a problem. You're better off just raising your head and beginning to address it a step at a time. So that's the thing that we have to do with the challenges that we face as we shift our mind. If it's ourselves, we have to create a check where we know I can take a break from what I'm doing, but it's not that I will not continue. It's just for me to recenter and move on. I can bring my fan club along, and then I decide who's really moving with me, who's not, and how do I want to kind of relate with them, thinking through the next step of my journey. And then the world, just what we've said. How do I balance? How do I take a pause? How do I take in and then decide this is more than enough, or I want more of this? Because yes, you also find good things. And then the challenge is I want to keep listening and listening and listening. And then your mind is not really processing. And I can relate to this. So recently I found a very interesting YouTube channel, and it's just dealing with current things that I'd like to focus on. And I'm telling you, every time I finish a video, I'm like, this is so interesting, I want to listen. This is so interesting, I want to listen. And then I was like, how? Pause. You cannot listen to one person for 3 hours, even if it's constructive. No, thank you. And you find I was repeating some of the clips, and then I'm like, no, I'd like the information. So what I did, my small wisdom, is I created a playlist. Every time I saw a video from this new channel that I'm just so interested in, I put it in the playlist. So what has that done to my mind? It's settled my mind that this is important, that I will listen to it, but not now. So I have scheduled it. So when I go through what I'd like to listen to for the day, I can now go to the playlist, see all the interesting things I've been picking, pick 1 or 2, listen through, get the full benefit, and still have the confidence that the other good one I had seen is still there for me to come back to. So it also creates a system and enables me to make sure I'm taking just enough of what I need to process in the moment. So that said, I keep encouraging us, keep documenting. Writing is a way of moving a lot of what your mind is processing into paper, so you can, 1, see it, 2, you can address it, and 3, you keep yourself accountable. So keep writing even the challenges you're navigating and the goals you're setting, small goals, daily goals you're setting that big up to the bigger goal of continuing on the shift that you need for the next financial decisions you're making as you grow your wealth. It's always a joy to speak with you. Thank you for listening, and looking forward to us catching up in the next session. It's Ahawo. Bye.